Tale of the tape for this, our first fight of the night. Yuri Alcantara, 31 years old, 3 years the elder of the UFC newcomer, Macran Diaz, 5'6", 5'8", a little taller is Diaz, but it's Alcantara with the reach advantage. Here is Bruce Buffer.
And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mark Goddard.
Mark Goddard is our referee. To the beautiful Ariani. Tonight, we are in Belo, Horizonte, Brazil, and set to get things started between Diaz and Alcantara. The southpaw Alcantara in the white trunks. Diaz, a very experienced 21-1, making his UFC debut tonight in the black trunks.
And Macran Diaz is a Andre Pederneiras trained fighter. So many talented guys trained by Pederneiras. Pederneiras, a real veteran from the old days of MMA. Trainer of Jose Aldo, and so many great up-and-coming fighters here out of Brazil.
Aldo, the featherweight champ.
Yeah,
Renan Barão going to fight for the interim title against Uriah Faber.
And he has the clinch here on Yuri Alcantara. We've seen Yuri fight several times, and he is a spectacular striker. And I believe he would like to keep this fight standing as Diaz is struggling to get him to the ground. Yuri with a good control here, the underhook, and he's down.
So Diaz will work from top position.
And Diaz is almost passing here. The one butterfly of Alcantara is keeping him in position. And Yuri slowly and calmly is trying to work his back up against the cage, get his left leg under him. He's got his right foot down. He wants to get his left leg under him and try to stand up. He took a couple shots there by Diaz.
Really big shots, yeah.
And he changes his strategy, but now Macran Diaz is going to get his back. He's got one hook in, and Yuri's trying to turn towards him, and Macran is going to try to get an arm choke, head and arm choke here as he does that. He's got his head pinned down. He does not want to let that right arm go, Mike. That right arm is in jeopardy right now. That right arm is going to get choked. He's going to connect his hands together, and he's doing that now. He will pass, and then he will slowly push away from that cage. The only thing that's stopping him from completely getting to Yuri Alcantara's right side is that cage.
Man, he might have it locked up right here.
Well, he's got it from the mount, which is okay. You can choke a guy from the mount if you got a real wicked one, but it's better to get on the side, on the right-hand side, Yuri's right-hand side, so the guy on the bottom.
Try to break him down a bit here and improve his position.
But note how he's pushing that elbow. He got to keep that head pinned down to the mat. That arm is going to choke up now. Alcantara's okay. He freed that arm up. Once he freed that arm up, he doesn't have to worry about it choking him.
Good start for Macran Diaz, who enters the UFC on an 8-fight win streak. Alcantara riding a 13-fight win streak.
That was good defense there by Yuri Alcantara, because that was a do-or-die situation. Big elbow.
Good start for Macran Diaz. Alcantara trying to work his way to his feet. And he's taken right back down. Inside the closed guard of Alcantara is Macran Diaz.
And there's some very creative posters here on the wall that depict Chael Sonnen in some really unfavorable positions.
Shocking, right?
I wish I could show you a photo of them, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know if it's legal.
This fight is one for the UFC history books. Our statisticians tell us that this fight tonight, Joe, between Macran Diaz and Yuri Alcantara is the 2,000th fight in UFC history.
Wow, that's incredible. How many have we called? About 1,500 of them?
Pretty much, yep. At least, right? We've seen some great battles, and we enter into a new horizon, beautiful horizon, Belo Horizonte, Brazil.
Well, what we're seeing so far is Yuri is trying very hard to defend himself, and he's doing a good job here, but Diaz is clearly the stronger fighter on the ground.
And those punches with the ground and pound are landing. You can see it from the facial expressions of Yuri Alcantara.
Well, Yuri did a good job. He was mounted, he was almost head and arm choked, and he did a good job of bringing it back to guard and then getting back up to his feet. But these are big knees to the thigh, and those are going to take a lot out of the legs of Yuri Alcantara. And Yuri's trying to spin and take his back, and he does! Look at that!
Alcantara with 26
He's got to be careful to
wins.
Kimura. In doing so, he gave up that left arm. In taking his back, he put his left arm in a very bad position. Macran Diaz has a full locked-on Kimura. The only thing that's protecting Yuri here is that he's got his hands clasped together. If Macran Diaz can separate the two hands of Yuri Alcantara, Yuri's in all sorts of trouble. Note the left leg. See how he's got that left butterfly inside the legs of Yuri Alcantara? He's got to keep that, because if he loses that, he's going to lose that position entirely.
And they break in the final seconds of round number one. A very impressive round.
See, even though he had that arm and he locked it up, the fact that he didn't have that leg in between holding that butterfly is why he couldn't finish that submission. Yuri turned around and made some distance and just extended his left arm.
An impressive first round for Macran Diaz.
In the corner of 31-year-old Yuri Alcantara, the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, who made his pro debut in 2004. And as we mentioned, is riding a 13-fight winning streak.
What is that?
This is a rare instance where both fighters are sponsored by the same company. It's Praetorian on both sides.
Pretty dominant sponsor here in Brazil.
What is it?
Clothing.
There's a takedown by Macran Diaz. And there's a vicious elbow from the top. And there's a big slam by Diaz. Excellent ground control by Diaz.
He is for real, and he is a threat from all areas.
Well, it's one of the things we've been saying, Mike, that Nova União team,
Yes.
that Andre Pednera's team, there's 100 of these guys like this guy.
And this guy's 21-1.
Yeah, making his UFC debut.
Right? Yeah.
It's incredible how much talent is down here.
Great opportunity.
He clipped him with the right hand there, Mike.
Diaz did not compete on this first season of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil.
I wonder why.
You know what? He was probably ready. I don't know. You'd have to ask Sean Shelby that as a 145 fighter. Our matchmaker at 125, 135, 145. Talking to Joe Silva, our matchmaker, earlier today about Macran Diaz, he did point out, obviously, the great experience of this Nova União fighter, and now it's Alcantara trying to push the pace here.
Yuri's got double underhooks, but he falls on his back. Last thing he wanted here is Diaz on top of him again.
Three of four early with his takedowns. Macran Diaz. Ground and pound.
There's some good body punches there and good elbows.
Both men very experienced, a combined 46 professional wins. But Diaz has been the more dominant fighter thus far.
Armbar attempt. Look at this.
Can he lock it in? Can he get it?
That's pretty tight. That is pretty tight.
Trying to finish it right here. Alcantara holding on to the right arm of Macran Diaz.
Looks like he got out of it. Wow, very impressive, but it just shows you Alcantara, very dangerous even on the ground. That was very close. And this is some high-level stuff. And Diaz clearly has to mind his P's and Q's while inside Alcantara's guard.
Alcantara, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as are many of our fighters competing here tonight. Inspired by the Gracies as youngsters.
Andre Pedneras is yelling out instructions. What is he saying? Half guard, pass to half guard. And he does.
9 career wins by submission for Macran Diaz. Making his UFC debut, riding a 9-fight winning streak. Looking for career win number 21. And doing a good job again here of controlling Yuri Alcantara. Trying to pull the hips away. Alcantara's back up.
Diaz has a body lock here, double underhooks. and he takes him down.
Good takedowns here in the fight thus far.
But look how good Yuri's guard is. Yuri is so good at bringing it back to guard. He's grabbing his gloves here, and Mark Goddard makes sure that he doesn't do that. And again, he's trying to pin that arm in. He's trying to get that arm choke again. This time he's pressing his head up against the cage so Yuri can't escape. And Yuri sneaks it under.
Trying to get that left leg free now.
Very good defense by Yuri Alcantara. I mean, I'm very impressed with Macran Diaz's ground attack, but you gotta give props to Yuri for his defense.
Continuous elbows, Alcantara defending.
They're coming a little slow, Mike, and that's from the relentless pace of this grappling. Those arms are a bit tired. So Yuri was able to defend just with his palm there.
And Yuri doing a really good job considering he's pressed up against the cage.
Yeah, well, he almost caught that arm bar. That's the closest to finishing this fight we've seen so far. And back to full guard for Yuri. And he ate an elbow.
That said, Macran Diaz is controlling this fight.
Yeah, he's clearly winning, but Yuri's very much in this fight. And Mark is going to stand him back up.
Much more than would appear to the naked eye. Alcantara is very well versed in all areas of MMA. He's got 10 wins by knockout, 12 by submission, so very dangerous on the feet as well.
Well, that whole Nova União team is so stacked with talent that anybody that comes out of there has got incredible training partners.
And thus the 8-fight winning streak of Nova União's Macran Diaz. Combination by Alcantara. Pushing forward, big left hand at the end of the round.
Let's take a look at that armbar attempt by Yuri Alcantara. Very close. Look how quickly he locks this up. He pushes off the cage with his foot. And locks a hold of it here. Brilliant armbar attempt by Yuri, and that was very close. A lot of guys would have had a tap from this.
He's so much more tired than you are. Okay? He's a lot more tired than you are. Let's go. Just calm down. And pin him against the cage and take him down.
Old school UFC fighter Andre Pederneiras, and just an outstanding trainer.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job with that Nova União team. It is one of the premier teams in the lower weight classes.
Born and raised in Rio de Janeiro, Diaz against Marajo's Yuri Alcantara, representing his island. The southpaw in the white trunks. Very experienced and talented newcomer in the black trunks.
Well, Alcantara has got to be thinking right now that he's probably down 2 rounds to 0. He's got to make something happen, and he's probably got to finish Diaz. The control on top, the fact that Diaz is able to take him down. He did come very close to that armbar, but that's about it.
Yeah, Alcantara, very good with his takedowns. 4 of 5. Diaz, pardon me, 4 of 5 with his takedowns of Alcantara. Alcantara tried to open up with the hands, but it was real late in the second round, Joe. And there again, he throws the combination. Alcantara knows he's got to push the pace here in the third. Well, you know, if Diaz is training at Nova União, that he's sparring with Renan Barão and Jose Aldo and the other great fighters in that camp every day. He's no slouch on his feet.
Good left kick to the body by Alcantara.
And answered by Diaz.
That was a powerful shot to the midsection.
Inside leg kick. Checked away by Alcantara. Alcantara there, just as I was going to say it, he needs to throw caution to the wind here soon. And he does with that big wind up on the left hand.
What do you want to call that left hand?
I don't know. Windmill left hand?
Yeah. It's from a Popeye cartoon.
Right? Like a sidearm pitch.
Yeah.
Caught the leg. Since moving to 145, Alcantara is 2-0. Both of those featherweight fights took place in Rio de Janeiro in the UFC. Kick check, nice counter with the uppercut right.
Diaz seems to be fighting very conservatively in this round, Mike, and he might be thinking that he's got the first two in the bank.
Which may be a fair assumption.
Unless you pay attention to MMA judging.
Right. Another successful takedown. That's 5 takedowns and some more of those rabbit punches, man.
These are solid shots.
Yep. He's landed a bunch of those.
Yeah.
He landed them early, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're short. They don't have full power behind them, but they're catching him right on the chin, and Alcantara can't just eat these.
No, there's no defense that Alcantara is putting up against those.
Well, not only that, he may be able to get to a slightly better position and rain one of those down with real power.
Nearly 100 ground strikes thrown by Macran Diaz.
And he's really controlling that right arm of Alcantara. Alcantara's trying to get back. And look at that, slippery, very nice.
Right back for the takedown, though. Looking to isolate
Alcantara
the arm.
looking for the left arm. Trying to get that Kimura on Diaz.
Under 90 seconds on the clock here in this fight.
And down again. A very frustrated looking Yuri Alcantara right there. It just looked like he was like, what am I doing?
Diaz has landed nearly 100 ground strikes.
This is a great fight, but this crowd is getting restless, and it's not really because this fight's because every fight besides this all day has been chaos.
Unbelievable. It's a festive atmosphere.
That's a good way to put it.
Here in Brazil, man, they were lined up early, weren't they?
For hours before the fight took place, people were in here. It was packed. I mean, there was not a seat to be taken when the first fight started.
Big left hand by
Yuri.
Alcantara looking for the spinning knee.
Another takedown, but this time he's up.
Nicely done.
And he's on top. Yuri's on top.
30 seconds, though, to work, Joe. Gonna have to make quick work of Macran Diaz with the ground and pound here. He's going for it.
He certainly is. He's putting a pace on Macran Diaz here in the last 30 seconds.
Maybe too little, too late, though.
Diaz is holding on to that right arm of Yuri.
Nice shot there with the left.
The crowd is counting him down.
Alcantara, a strong finish, but is it enough?
Great fight either way. You know, I was really impressed with Alcantara's defense, but man, we have another spectacular featherweight fighter out of Nova União. What a camp.
And impressive numbers turned in by Macran Diaz. Look at that. Look at the percentage of strikes landed, Joe. 76 to the head, 80% effective. A lot of body strikes, but man, the work he did on the ground.
Yeah, it's all on the ground. That was, that was really the key to this fight, was Macran Diaz's takedowns and his ground control.
104 of 115 for 90% landed with the ground strikes and 6 takedowns.
And that's a really experienced guy to be fighting in his first UFC fight. And, we don't know about him until now and what talent he has.
21-1, hoping he has extended his winning streak to 9. And now with the official decision, here's Bruce Buffer.
After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Macran Diaz.
Macran Diaz snaps the 13-fight winning streak of Yuri Alcantara, and he wins his UFC debut.